Hello everyone and welcome to Games, Comics and Crafts.
In this video, I'll be looking at Transformers issue 10. Okay, so this is the 10th issue of Transformers. This is an origin story for Beachcomber. Pretty much, we see Beachcomber being chucked out of the Ark as it's hurtling towards the Earth millions of years ago. Originally, I thought it was 150 years ago, 200 years ago, because all of the bits about Jetfire, Springer, and Ultra Magnus all kind of date around that same kind of time. Apparently not, which is interesting. Beachcomber lands up on the moon, where he promptly sits there and watches the Earth for a couple of million years, and then hitches a ride back on the moon landing craft to Earth, walks his way across Earth, which I don't, presumably lands in the US because it's a US craft, so presumably he lands in the US, uses a scanner to try and find his way back to the Ark, and with that, gets the option to resurrect Transformers, decides not to do so because apparently that would bring the war from Cybertron to Earth, and he likes Earth so much that he didn't do so. The interesting fact is, I'm not sure how he got across the US without being spotted. His alt mode apparently obviously would be a Cybertronian alt mode, so it wouldn't look like a car unless he got one while he was at the Ark. It's possible. So we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, doesn't really do much. Astro Train basically says that he wants to take the human to Shockwave because of what's been happening to him. I love the way Astro Train's got this kind of bold kind of lettering that everyone else has got, as if he's really grumpy all the while. And he mentions Shockwave. He knows a Shockwave because he's the commander on the Cybertron. And as they're watching this thing, they see this kind of bright light go up, which is the activation of Shockwave's machine. So cutting to the Decepticons, we get to see Shockwave and Soundwave. They are discussing resurrecting Ravage, and Shockwave basically says, "Don't bother. He's old. You don't need it. We'll get you some new ones." And they call them Recordicons. I don't know if they've ever used the name Recordicons before. That's interesting. So whether or not we'll see Rat and a few other people in the future, I don't know. Anyway, they look outside the kind of the ocean part of it, and Shockwave is like sees these majestic whales. Oh my! These things are fantastic. Can you not believe these wondrous creatures? Anyway, I'm going to turn my machine on and just chew them all up and get energy from him. So he's really cool. Shockwave is still like, he can appreciate the stuff, but it doesn't stop him from getting his ultimate, kind of destination of getting energy on. So going back to the Autobots, we see Prime comes in with Ultra Magnus and Elite One. They obviously know each other, so they explain that, and then Prime explains to Wheeljack that Ratchet has been killed, and that Jazz and Cliffjumper are missing. Jazz and Cliffjumper are on the Decepticons, and they are there to be experimented on because he wants to know what happens with them being on Earth for so long, and see if there's any changes to the actual Transformers, or it's just an excuse to her. I don't know. Soundwave and Thundercracker basically go out here and discuss, and says, "Why can't we get Skywarp? Leave Skywarp alone. He's not worth it," which is kind of like, okay, so there's a little bit of infighting between these Decepticons at the moment. We also see the Combaticons here. That guy's been chopped in half again, which kind of happened to Ratchet, so it kind of makes sense that he can still live. Elite One and Prime discuss the fact that he thought they abandoned them when he left Cybertron, but he obviously tried to drag them away, but it said there was so much going on Cybertron that you left too much happening behind, and Shockwave basically took over, even though he took Megatron and everyone else off. There, back in the Decepticons are kind of looking at the machine, which you were presuming was what the original plan was, which we assume was it was going to draw the energon from the Earth, kind of like the cartoon. We saw the ones with a dam, and they used the dam to produce energon. It seems that Shockwave's plan is a little bit more elaborate than this, and it actually concerns bringing the entirety of Cybertron through a portal to Earth, which is quite cool. So next issue, obviously, we've got that happening. It's not going to be good. Everyone's going to see it. The one hope, in fact, that they do this, if they do this, make sure everyone knows about it. Don't pull a New Who, Doctor Who kind of thing where you have this massively world-ending event and then everyone forgets about it in 15 minutes because hand waving them. It's just terrible. So we used to see so many kind of, you know, when the Cybermen showed up and on in Doctor Who, and they were all ghosts, and then they turned into Cybermen, and then everyone forgets the Cybermen existed because they spent a year and a half with Cybermen ghosts, but then they forgot. It's just nonsense. So this has to be treated like the Marvel stuff, where everyone knows what's going on. So Cybertron appears, G.I. Joe's maybe going to get formed because of this threat. The Decepticons are going to know about it. Everyone's going to know about it. The Cobra people are going to know about it, and obviously Cobra got an expedition off into space anyway, or Cobra Lares, according to the special. This is going to be something that's going to obviously affect the world. It's important. So next issue, we have a fight between Prime and Shockwave. I don't know whether we're going to get 12 issues and then a kind of like a 2 or 3 month hiatus, which is entirely possible because obviously they will do a second trade after that's collected. And then during that time, we've got Scarlet 2, which I've got already, which isn't bad at the moment, but we'll look into that one later on. Destro 2 should be this week. Void Rivals, which I'm enjoying a lot better, more than I thought, probably because it's got spring in it, which is really cool. End of the month. So yeah, so all in all, it's another decent Energon Universe book. Even a decent Transformers book. I'm not particularly sure I like Beachcomber as a character as such. We shall see if he redeems himself, but everyone seems to be a little more kind of in those grey areas than previously, where everyone was kind of, you know, I quite like that kind of conflict and difference of opinion between people. It doesn't have to turn into, you know, death match every time and everyone's shooting each other, but the idea that one people likes to do stuff and they say that's a good idea and the other people say isn't about it. Yeah, anyway. Especially amongst the Decepticons. A little bit of rivalry amongst the Decepticons is really, really good. So anyway, that's pretty much all I can say about this one. So if you made it this far, thank you very much. If you'd like to subscribe, I'll be very, very grateful. And hopefully I will see you on another video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.